Lesson number 32 is all about variables and evaluation. And our first question is to evaluate. We have xy plus x. Now, what we want to find out is the answer to this. We want to evaluate it if x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 4. So wherever we see an x originally, in the beginning and the end, we know x is equal to 2, so we're going to substitute that in. Whenever we substitute a value in for a variable, we need to put it in parentheses. So we're going to get 2, that's x, times our y value. Our y value is equal to 4, so we're going to get 2 times 4, plus x, and we know x is equal to 2, and now we can find our answer. 2 times 4, that's 8. 8 plus 2 is equal to 10. So we've got our final answer. It's key that when we do these problems that we use a parentheses. If we didn't use our parentheses, you'd have to remember that x touching y means x times y. Okay, so if you were to write it without parentheses, you'd have to write 2 times 4, or else it would just look like 24. That's not the right problem. So you've got to use the parentheses to remember we have multiplication. Let's move on to our next problem. Here we have to evaluate xmy minus xy if x is equal to 2, m is equal to 5, and y is equal to 4. So we're going to put parentheses all the way through to begin with. We've got xmy minus xy. Now wherever we see x originally at the beginning and near the end, the second to last, we're going to put 2, because x must be equal to 2. So x is 2, then our next x is 2. M is equal to 5. So m, we only have one m. That's here in our second parentheses. And then y is equal to 4. So that's our third number, and it's going to be our last number. Now we can solve. We've got to do multiplication before we do subtraction. So we're going to get 2 times 5, that's 10. Then we're going to have 10 times 4, which is 40, minus 2 times 4. Well, that must be 8. So we get 40 minus 8, and 40 minus 8, well, that's always going to be equal to 32. So we've got our final answer. Again, the key part was to use those parentheses when we substitute our known values in for our variables in order to evaluate. We've got one more example today. Here we want to evaluate. And this time, you can see we have fractions. Now the division bars didn't show up very well there, but we have 2/3 and 9/11. So let's solve. We've got m and x. So we're going to put out our parentheses plus 4 times our m value. So x is equal to 2/3. So wherever we see x, we're going to put 2/3. M is equal to 9/11. So we're going to put that 9/11 and 9/11 for m. And now we can solve. Well, we have 9/11, and we're going to write this with a dot instead of our parentheses, times 2/3 plus 4/1 times 9/11. We know we have to do the multiplications first before we do any addition, so let's simplify before we multiply. 3 goes into 9 3 times. So 9/3 is really going to be 3/1. In our second set, we can't simplify anything at all before we multiply. That's okay. We'll still get our final answer eventually. 3 times 2, that's 6. 11 times 1, that's 11. Plus 4 times 9 gives us 36. 1 times 11 is 11. And in this one, to find out our final answer, we know when we add fractions, the denominator stays the same. And we get 36 plus 6, which must be 42. So we've got our answer of 42/11. You're welcome to leave it as an improper fraction if you like. If you wanted to reduce it, 42/11, well, that's going to be equal to 3. 11 times 3 is 33. So we need 9 more to get to 42. 3 and 9/11. Both answers are correct. You pick the method you like better. Lesson practice is on page 107. Make sure you've got your notes complete, and I'll see you during our next class.